Yeah, so I kind of want to go back because I was listening to you and Patrick has some really really great insight, and I picked up like a couple things, and we talked like most. I'm hearing like really like amongst all of the speakers is like it's routine and addressing it first and realizing and having the awareness of the weakness so that you can address it, right? So I know like it's going to be youth watching this or whatever, so I'm gonna kind of try to speak to the youth as best as I can. So it's like if you recognize that, okay, I'm not good at something and I wanna get better at this, right? And you say, okay, what's factors are contributing to me not being good at this? How can I, go about these and address them and begin to overcome this weakness, right? And
Mm.
so you start to see, okay, I'm not good at this. And one thing I think we don't really recognize, right? So Justin, you brought up a really great point about the beach and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Um, I think about that as your environment, right? The environment you're in, the environment you create for yourself, it enables you and it supports you in order to overcome the things that are not so good about you in order to be a better you,
Hmm.
right? So right now we know that most black and brown, youth and people in general live in an environment that's not really conducive to them reaching their maximum potential. So if you are a student, right, and you want to be the best student you could be, but you go home and moms and dads is arguing, or you don't have a home to go to, or you're wearing the same clothes at school, that's
Mm.
contributing to you not really being able to overcome what you're trying to overcome. Or if you are plainly to make a long story short, because I know we don't have much time.
No,
um
please.
yeah, your environment also plays a factor, right? So I'm saying all this to say, if you live in an environment or you don't have the ability to first create the environment that you want to see that will support you and
Yeah.
to thrive into your maximum potential. One of the things that I've kind of been focusing on is all of us probably had somebody along our way to help us, right? We all had somebody to either reach out, mentor, or kind of shed some light on something and kind of push us to something, right? So one of the things that I've been working on here is community house activism. It's my nonprofit, and it's basically raising money to buy homes to create this safe space where youth, these black and brown youth, can come and they can go through storytelling trainings and they can go through mentoring courses and they receive all of this training and support and resources, and then they go back in community as advocates, as mentors, as community leaders, and they repeat the whole cycle.
Yep. Yep.
So that's kind of what I've been working on, and it's kind of just replacing the current system in the current environment with another system in another environment where you see unity, you see people talking, communicating with each other. No matter what color you are, people.
Mm.
If you live in the same community, we're talking to each other. We're lacking that in the community. We're lacking unity and communication with each other, and with help, those weaknesses start looking smaller and smaller and smaller. When you have help, they start looking smaller. So I kind of just want to end with that. If you guys want to learn more about it, please feel free to look me up. We on Instagram. My website is DevontaeSpringer.com. You can go there and get a part of the movement, or if you're just looking for a safe space to share your story and start addressing some of those weaknesses and the trauma that's holding you back, right?
Mm.
Um, yeah, so that's a little bit about how I think we can start overcoming it, but it's a lot of different layers.
Absolutely, yeah, different levels of it. I thank you so much for your insight, Devontae, and I mean this when I say, man, you're my hero. Okay, when I get a chance to meet you, man, I'm gonna pick your ear because you got a lot to give, and there's a lot to learn from you and everyone in this chat. And it actually is a good segue into my next question. I have a couple more questions for you guys, and we'll wrap it up. But my next question is, Devontae, you will have insight into Patrick and Shamar. How can we best support others in our life who are taking strides towards turning their weaknesses into strengths? What do we say to our loved ones, to our people, to our friends, to our community members, to our coworkers who we may witness, them being held back by them not wanting to face their weaknesses, and that may hold the whole team back? What do we say to those people?
I'd say you can't, you want to be there for that person, but you can't break that barrier for them. You have to be there to help them break that barrier rather than trying to be there rather than trying to do it for them, basically. You just want to be there and make sure that you support them, but it's ultimately up to them to break that barrier on their own.
Yeah, Shamar, great job. I think you are touching on something that, I always love idioms. I always throw idiom out there. Give someone a fish, you feed them for a day, right? But if you give them a fishing rod, you feed them until the fishing rod breaks, basically. So something that you are mentioning is like teaching them how to break the barrier themselves, to do something for themselves and overcome it themselves. A lot of us, myself included, I am Mr. Fix It. Something's wrong. Tell me what's wrong. Let me fix it for you. Versus something's wrong. Let me tell you what I've done in order to like fix my own issue, and then perhaps you can apply some of those skills or find your own coping way to fix those issues, right? And then I think something that I would love to touch on is, again, the shame, right? Instead of telling them that, oh, you're not good at that, you shouldn't do that, like, why would you do that? You're just not good at it. You're not good at it. Instead saying, you're not good at it, why don't we work on it together? What are you struggling? Why are you struggling? What can we do in order for you to not struggle anymore? I think just changing the conversations around weaknesses and changing your mindset around weaknesses is a great place to be in order for you to overcome and address your weakness.
Yeah, I just want to touch on that just a little bit, because I want to kind of reiterate that, like, as you guys know, I'm a golfer, and right now one of my weaknesses is my iron shots. Right now, I need to get my iron shots back online. But that's like saying, coach, you're gonna go hit my iron shots for me, rather than my coach being there and saying, I want you to do this. I want you to go home and practice this, that, and the other. And this is how it works. This is how I'm going to help you get your iron shots back on.
Yeah,
absolutely. And Devontae touched on that too, about building a foundation for people who have a lack of or none at all, giving them that support, that security, the resources, the encouragement to tell their own story, to make their own way, create a new path on their journey. That is how we strengthen our weaknesses, is through others and community. If your coach didn't tell you, Shamar, to go home and practice that iron shot, you would have thought maybe you were strong at it, but he sees something that you don't, and now you're going to go home and practice that and rep it until you get better at it. And Patrick, I know you can expand for a long time on things that you've encountered and throughout your journey that you weren't so good at, but now you're sharper at, and then now we're looking for a higher quality of weaknesses to sharpen. When I first started hosting and doing this in front of the camera, Patrick can attest to this. I'm sure Devontae and Shamar, I wasn't as sharp as I am now. So those things of just giving yourself grace, identifying your weaknesses, stabilizing yourself on a platform, on a foundation, so that you can magnify your weaknesses and then turn them into strengths, is all through community. I want to thank you guys for that.